Hi Zebra Army, welcome back. I hope you're having a good week. I'm having a pretty crap week myself. Just general mast cell reactions are through the roof for some reason. I don't know if is everyone else having bad reactions at the moment. Can't really pinpoint what it is. It's just general airborne stuff. Maybe just because it's summer, not really sure. And I've also hurt my arm pretty badly, as is the nature of EDS, unfortunately. So I hope you're having a better week. A few of you have emailed me recently kind of wanting to know what the crack is with September and starting up the protests again. I will do another video about that soon and about the general just updates on the campaign. If you haven't though, go to the website eds4ire.ie and you can sign up to the mailing list there, where I send out regular enough kind of emails just to keep everyone updated as well. Also obviously when we do have the protests again, I will have the Facebook events posted up there, so if you like the page, hopefully you'll see them as well. But I promise, as soon as we have a date for the protest, I will get all that information up there, and I will send everyone that signed up for the emails out an email about that too. So I will, in a few more days, do an update video just on everything going on with the campaign. But today I wanted to talk about a topic that I think is really important to talk about. And I think whether you have EDS or not, stick around, because I think this is important for you to know. So whether you have EDS, someone you know has EDS, or you're just kind of interested in the condition in general, this is quite a big topic, yet quite a simple question as well. So the question is, what does someone with EDS look like? Now, before I answer, I'm going to discuss this over three kind of topics before I give you a very simple answer. And some of you might already know that answer, but stay tuned anyway, just to kind of discuss over the different parts of, I suppose, of how to answer this and where the answer in the end comes from. So I suppose the first part of discussing what does someone with EDS look like is to talk about, there's different types of EDS. So if you know anything about EDS, you might know there's 13 types of EDS. So that's going to vary what someone with EDS might look like. You may have came across certain images online or even just descriptions of people with vascular EDS and how they might look with certain certain features on their face, particularly. So, for instance, many people with EDS have translucent skin, and with a vascular type, this might be more so. But that doesn't always indicate that you do have vascular type. The translucent skin and the veins showing tends to go over, all the types of EDS. So that's not really used as a diagnostic tool, just by sight alone. So that's first things first. So the same really for the facial features. So sometimes, and this is a very general thing, and I want to say that first of all, and you might have seen them in images of people with vascular EDS having, say, a thin nose, a thin lips, quite flat cheekbones, I remember hearing was one of them, large prominent eyes, so eyes that might be quite back inset eyes. These are features that are common with the vascular type of EDS. And I think another one as well is attached earlobes. Percentage-wise, I'm honestly not sure. How would you rate thin lips? How would you rate a thin nose? So we have to take that into account as well. What one doctor thinks might be a thin lips, thin nose, another mightn't. So we have to, take into that account as well, that looking at someone's face and looking at their facial features is very left up to human error. So it's not used as a diagnostic tool, but you will often hear, oh, they had that vascular look about them. But as we all know, things aren't that simple or work out as simple as that. And many people are diagnosed with vascular type of EDS and they had no idea that they ever had the vascular type. So we can't take in looks into the account even when it comes to vascular type. So I think that's one thing I wanted to get out of the way first of all, because you will see images and you'll see graphs of here's what someone with vascular EDS looks like. And really that should say, here's what someone with vascular EDS might look like, because it's not always the case. So that's the first segment then. Glad we've ticked that off. Secondly, you might often hear people say that, you know, some of us with EDS, or many of us with EDS, that we look young. I know that if I've been told you don't look 34, and when I was 24 it was like you look 10, you know, it's all these kind of normal things that when we're talking in support groups and we're talking to each other online, we're like, oh, I've always had that as well. People have always said to me that I looked young, that I don't seem to have as many wrinkles as my peers, you know, as I've started to age. I know I still get asked for ID a lot of the time, which is great, which is nice, you know, when that happens. But is that a particular thing because of EDS, or is that just a thing? You know, and a lot of people, even who don't have EDS, I think outside the EDS community, a lot of people have noticed this and have said this. Oh, do people with EDS tend to look quite young? And while that might be, there might be a lot of truth in that, it's not, you know, it's not a diagnostic thing. It just isn't. And, you know, it can do us a lot more harm than good in the long run. A lot of the time the discussion comes up in groups online, and it's just a bit of fun. It's kind of like, guess my age kind of thing. If you have EDS or HSD, you'll know what I mean. If you're in the support groups or you're chatting to someone online, like, there's always this, like, you'll put the photo up and it's like, oh, guess my age, and then I'll guess your age. It's because a lot of us maybe do look on the younger side, but it can be harmful overall. I mean, it's one thing when we're talking to each other online, but when that starts to slip out and people outside our community and our groups realise, oh, people with EDS are saying this, so therefore everyone with EDS looks young, that can be really harmful. And that can be harmful to other patients who don't look young, to the vast amount of people with EDS who have serious skin issues, who don't look young. And it's not a diagnostic thing. It's not even really a thing. See, here's what I find, and I don't know, everyone's different, but here's what I find with my skin. And I get told, oh, you look quite young. And I don't tend to, like, my camera's not that great, I'm sure you can't see. I don't, like, maybe tend to wrinkle that much on my face. So this is kind of where it comes into play. I find, for me personally, that certain parts of my skin look very young and refreshed, and other parts look very old. Now, the older parts of my skin are down to EDS, most certainly. The younger parts, I don't know, or just good genes, because obviously EDS is a genetic condition, but you know, you have to take other genes into consideration. So, you know, what your family looks like, no matter what, even if they didn't have EDS, is going to affect your traits as well. But for me personally, I've noticed that parts of me have started to age prematurely. I think particularly my hands, and the skin around my neck and stuff, where a lot of us would have issues with our skin anyway, and with our skin being quite loose. So for me, I'm prematurely, I think, aging in certain parts of my body that technically people just don't think to look, because people just look at your face all the time and they're like, oh, you've hardly any wrinkles at all, that kind of crack. So I think that's important to remember. It's not all our faces all of the time. Is anyone else like that? Actually, leave a comment. Do you feel like, oh, if I look at this part of my body, I feel very young. If I look at that part of my body, I feel like ancient. And I think that's quite common. And that actually came up in another video that I did talking about tattoos and how our skin is quite light and translucent. And in one instant, you know, someone's like, for instance, a tattoo artist is like, your skin is quite like an elderly person's skin, but at the same time like a baby skin. And I knew exactly what they meant when they said that to me, and I didn't take it as an insult because I feel the exact same. So it's a very peculiar way of, I suppose, of being. But it's far more complex than just, oh, you look really young. No, I don't. You're not looking hard enough. is probably what I should say to people, but I'm not going to say that. And I'm not going to force you to tell people about where you look old in your body either. So that's something to take into consideration when we're talking about things kind of behind closed doors and in groups about like, oh, guess what age I am. It's not going to stand well for the community as a whole. So that kind of brings me into my third section of this conversation. And that is to talk about Sarah Gertz. Is that her name? God, that's terrible. I should know her name. Sarah Gertz, I think she is. So talking about skin, Sarah Gertz, as you probably already know, if you know anything about EDS, she is quite a well-known, I suppose, model / kind of advocate for EDS and, the condition in general. And she is mostly well known really for literally her skin. So she's got quite saggy skin and has for a long time. So this isn't something that's happened because of age. She's had prematurely very saggy, wrinkly skin because of her EDS. So I think that's where kind of people got confused when she kind of first came about. And I'm still getting sent links from friends going, oh, this girl has your condition, where they're actually hearing about her now. At different stages. People send me emails all the time, and I think it can throw people off going, oh no, but with your condition you're meant to look young. And that's kind of where it comes into play. It's like, well, she's got this type of skin, your skin isn't that bad. And it's people do understand that EDS and with other conditions, there's 13 types of EDS, with even over those 13 types of identified EDS, there's going to be so many variations. And with any conditions, there's a massive list of symptoms and things that, a condition will cause to someone that won't cause to someone else, because that's just the way things work out. So that's, I suppose, when it comes to play, do we look old? Do we look young? We can't really say that there's one defined look for a person with EDS. Forgetting even the 13 types, forgetting even, the vascular facial features, forgetting any of that. It's the same really as trying to say, what does a disabled person look like? And we all know that nonsense of, like a disabled person that's in a wheelchair 24/7. A disabled person looks like such and such. Or, we can't say that someone with EDS has a particular look, has a particular skin type. We can say they may be more likely to have this. They may have this comorbid condition. Their skin will probably feel a certain way. But we are all so different and unique. And whether you have the hypermobility type of EDS or whether you have vascular type of EDS, we are going to just look different. And I think Sarah Gertz is a big part of that, and kind of where you can look at her and look at someone else and see how vastly different that is. So it's great that she's kind of out there, like on that kind of platform where everyday people can see her and kind of go, okay, so that's one extreme of EDS, and then they can look at someone like a famous like Jamil and think, oh, that's another person with EDS. And I think it's great that we have such a vast platform for the different types of EDS, and I think we're better keeping it that way. So if someone asks you, what does someone with EDS look like, you can describe the symptoms, you can say they probably have skin that feels like this, but make sure you're telling them that we all look different and there's no one EDS look. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any other questions like relating to EDS, symptoms, anything at all really, please leave me a comment down below. Going back to the mast cell stuff earlier, if anyone's having mast cell reaction at the moment, and if you have any really good tips, please let me know, because I'm finding it difficult to leave the house and I'm cleaning constantly and hoovering constantly, trying to make the house livable, and it's just getting really annoying. So any tips on that would be absolutely great. I hope you're all keeping well, and I will update you all soon on where we are going with the campaign next.